Hey, welcome to The Explainer. We're all kind of taught that a perfect relationship is one where you never argue. But what if I told you that's completely backwards? Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea from some of the top relationship experts that conflict isn't just something to be avoided, it's actually an amazing opportunity to build a way stronger connection. Okay, so let's just jump right into this. The common wisdom, right, is that happy couples just don't fight. But decades, and I mean decades of research from doctors John and Julie Gottman show the complete opposite. The goal isn't to get rid of conflict, it's to learn how to do it well. So what if fighting could literally be the engine for a healthier and way deeper relationship? So the first big idea we have to get our heads around is that conflict is not a sign of failure. Not at all. It's actually a sign that two totally different, unique people are trying to smash their lives together and build one single life. The real danger isn't the argument itself. It's what happens when you just stop talking. Because avoiding your issues doesn't make them go away. It just leads to silence, resentment, and a massive disconnect. And this, right here, this is the key to everything. This one little mindset shift changes the entire game. Think about it. If your goal is to win, your partner automatically becomes your opponent. But if your goal is to understand why your partner is hurting, you stay on the same team. You're working together to solve a problem you both share. Well, it turns out we all have a kind of default setting for how we handle conflict. You could call it a conflict personality. And figuring out what your style is, and just as important, your partner's style, that's really the first step to getting through disagreements without, blowing everything up. So, research shows that happy couples usually fall into one of three main styles. First, you have the avoiders. They try to minimize conflict. For them, peace is the number one priority. Then you have the validators. They're your classic communicators, right? They want to talk it all out, find a compromise. And finally, you have the volatiles. They are passionate, they argue with intensity, but they also make up with that same intensity. And here's the crucial part. None of these styles are wrong. You don't have to change who you are. The problems really start when we misunderstand each other. A volatile person might see an avoider's silence and think they don't care, while the avoider is looking at the volatile's passion and thinking it's just pure aggression. Understanding is the bridge that connects those two worlds. Okay, so how do we actually put this stuff into practice? Well, according to all the research, there is one moment that is more critical than any other in deciding how a fight is going to go, and that's the very, very beginning. Get ready for this number, because it is staggering. Researchers can predict the outcome of a disagreement with 96% accuracy just by watching the first 3 minutes of the conversation. Seriously, how you start the discussion pretty much locks in how it's going to end. So a conflict can really go down one of two paths. You've got the harsh startup, which is all about blame and accusation, like you never help out, which of course immediately makes the other person get defensive. But then there's the soft startup, which focuses on your feelings about a specific thing. It invites your partner to collaborate with you instead of going into combat. And here's the simple practical formula for it. Instead of attacking, you just follow these 3 steps. You state your feeling, you describe the specific situation that's causing it, and then you state a positive need. So something like, "You're so selfish" becomes, "I feel really overwhelmed about the morning routine, and I need your help getting the kids dressed." It is such a simple switch, but it completely changes the tone of the conversation. All right, now we get to the really deep stuff. For those fights that just keep happening over and over, the ones where you feel totally gridlocked, there's usually something way more profound going on just beneath the surface. I mean, think about it for a second. Have you ever had a huge knockdown, drag-out fight over something that seems totally ridiculous later, like socks on the floor or how to load the dishwasher? The emotion feels way too big for the topic, and that's because the fight isn't actually about the dishes. This is what experts call the dreams within conflict. The idea is that underneath these really stubborn fights are our deepest personal values, maybe even unfulfilled life dreams. So for someone who, say, grew up in a really chaotic house, a clean kitchen isn't about being a neat freak. It might symbolize a core fundamental need for safety and order in their life. And when you realize this, oh man, everything changes. Your partner isn't being controlling about the mess. They're trying to protect their need for safety. And just like that, all that judgment just dissolves, and it gets replaced by empathy. And you can finally talk about what's really going on. Of course, look, even with the best intentions, we all mess up. We get angry, we say the wrong thing. The difference between couples who really thrive and those who don't It's not perfection. It's their ability to repair the damage after a fight. A repair attempt is just any gesture, it can be verbal or not, that tries to de-escalate the tension. It's like hitting the brakes on a runaway train. It can be a simple apology, a little bit of humor, reaching out for their hand, or even just saying, you know what, you have a good point. It's all about signaling that the relationship is more important than being right. But remember, this is a two-way street. One person has to offer the repair, sure, but the other person has to be willing to accept it. If your partner offers that olive branch and you just smack it away, you're not just continuing the fight, you're breaking trust and making it way less likely they'll even try again next time. And finally, don't just sweep a bad fight under the rug. Once you're both calm, it is so important to process what happened. The two main rules are really simple but powerful. First, you have to accept that there is no objective reality. There are two valid, subjective points of view, yours and theirs. Second, work together to figure out the real trigger. Was it because you were hungry, stressed from work? This helps separate the incident from the relationship itself. So as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. Think about the last recurring argument you had, the one that always comes back. If you look underneath the surface topic, what deeper need or value or unfulfilled dream was really at stake for you? Because understanding that is the very first step to turning your next fight into a real connection.